before we get going, I just want to thank Connie, the original, the OG. She started this softball program, took it from an intramural program to a program that went to Oklahoma City, and we can't thank her enough, Coach Clark, for what she did for the University of Texas and our softball program. And when she came in and said it was time to hand over the keys to someone else, I asked her and thanked her, and what a selfless act for an individual that said it is time for someone to take the reins. And I was grateful for how she went about it, but more importantly, just thanked her and said she was loved and she will always be, as I refer to her, as the OG of Texas softball. That led itself to a course where Chris Polonsky and I got together and said, okay, who's the next person to lead our softball program? Who's the next person to go back and take softball to build on the foundation that Connie had built? And one of the criteria I had was I wanted someone that was a grinder, someone that took over a program when they were not very successful and built upon that program. And we looked and we talked to 1,000 coaches. I can assure you that the University of Texas was a job that was sought after by many, many people. And it was amazing to me the people that wanted the job or said they wanted the job, but people that really wanted to be here. And me being in the Pac-10 for years, I remember when the University of Oregon was everyone's homecoming game, to take a pun from football. You played them, they were not a very good team. They were not very successful. And I watched over 9 years this program go from the doormat of the Pac-10, currently the Pac-12, to Oklahoma City 5 times, to hosting super regionals. I'm like, how do they do that? What is the championship formula? And CP and I went and talked to many coaches across the country, many players. And we sat down and we talked to many players, many coaches, and they came back with one name every single time. I'm not too sure if you can get him to come. I'm not too sure he'll leave Oregon. But there's a Kiwi down there that's pretty special. I said, yeah, baby. And we found out his wife, Lisa, had a sister here. And her mother was in town. Like, we'll just take advantage of that old family relationship, see if we can pry that open. So, Lisa, thank you for coming today and allowing us to recruit your husband to be here. And family, that's pretty awesome that you were here, because you were the secret weapon. Let me help you out. And we talked with Mike and said, why would you want to come to the University of Texas? You're leaving Oregon. He goes, because I could win a national championship at the University of Texas. Oregon is not known for softball. We have 1,300 young ladies that play softball in this state. We have some of the very best that come here that can win a national championship. He took a program with no state talent and went to Oklahoma City 5 times in a 9-year period of time. I said, Mike, are you up for the challenge? Do you want to come to the University of Texas? And we had the same criteria when we looked at a track coach, a grinder, someone that took a program from nothing at Kentucky and what he'd built there to come to the University of Texas. And we found that gem. Coach White, you earned this reputation of being one of the very best in the country. And I can't thank you for coming to the University of Texas and taking on this challenge, because this is your job from the onset. I'd like to welcome you and introduce you to our new head coach, Coach White. Welcome to the University of Texas. Come on up here. There you go. Hey, he already has Hookem. I love that. Oh, we got to go to the front before you talk? And by the way, look at this shirt. You can tell that he just got that beauty right out of the bag. Straight out of the bag. All right. Student athletes, you're going to love working with Coach White. He's the very best. Coach White, the podium is yours. I'd like to give a shout out to Chris Polonsky. CP, thank you for all your work on this process. It was a pleasure working with you, and I tell you what, we got a winner. We got a winner in Coach White. Podium is yours, my friend. Welcome to the University of Texas.
Thank you, Chris.
And you look fabulous in burn orange.
Well, good morning. It's an exciting day. I'm excited to be here in Texas. And I want to thank, I'm not too good at names. I'm going to forget a lot of names, but I'm glad it's Chris and Chris. I can handle that, right? So, of course, Chris Del Conte and Chris Polonsky, and of course my agent Bill Holmes, have helped this all happen, become a reality. It was a whirlwind. It was on one minute and off the next, and It took a lot to get me out of Oregon, and I'm excited to be here. I think the opportunity is second to none. Like Chris said, there's a lot of coaches that wanted this job. But it needs more than that. It needs someone that's going to pour their heart and soul into it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find coaches that are going to help me do that, because it's not just a head coach, it's a team, and we're going to find that team. And then I want to talk to our team, our new student athlete, the student athletes, new ones for me, and find a way to do that. I'm a winner. I don't come here just to compete. I come here to win, and that's what I want to do. I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunity of being in Texas. And starting something new. Hopefully my family will join me down here. I have 3 daughters, and hopefully they'll follow us down here pretty soon. But other than that, super excited. Can't wait to meet everybody and get to know you all, especially the players. And I'm just excited, so thank you.
Immediate questions, please. Why do you think you were picked to lead this program?
Well, that's a good question. I think you have to look at the track record. You have to look at the records of the coaches that are out there. The only thing I haven't done is win a national title, and that's what I want to do at Texas. I want to win a national title, and I think the resources are here. You look at a lot of other programs. They have great, there's abilities out there, but to compete in this conference against Oklahoma, that's going to be very difficult to do. To compete against the SEC and the Pac-12, Pac-12's rising. They're doing very well now. It's going to take a lot, but it's doable. I think that we're going to have the resources here, especially the new player development area coming in next year, next summer. They're going to build, just having that background behind us, the resources, and I think Texas is going to allow us to do that.
You said it took a lot to get you out of Oregon. What was the recruiting pitch to get you here?
Well, I was looking for financial security for my family. That's the big thing, and felt like I had the backing there. That was really the main reason. And of course, I wouldn't just come anywhere. It wasn't just about the money, but it had to be the ability to win as well. You don't want to go somewhere and lose. It's not what it's about. I want to come here and feel like the ability. Also, the academic respect this university has. That means a lot too, and that's going to help us in recruiting, getting good players here. I think that's the lifeblood of a good program, is getting good players and, of course, good coaches and the resources. I've been totally impressed with what I've seen so far at Texas and the way I've been treated, and I think that's huge. Oh, absolutely. I'm torn. I mean, but it's like anything. You've got to get over that, and time will heal that. But a part of me will always be in Oregon, and I use that as a recruiting pitch. Once a duck, always a duck, and part of me is going to be that. But now it's about being a Longhorn, and that's what I'm going to promote.
Staff-wise, have you been given complete hiring control? How long do you think it's going to take to fill out your staff, and what will you be looking for?
Well, I'm going to look for grinders. Coach said I'm a grinder. I'm looking for grinders too, and I've had a couple of those at Oregon, and I'll go out there. I've had a lot of people. Trust me, my phone has blown up, especially yesterday. I was blowing up when my last assistant, Coach Kalidas, went to UAB. My phone was blowing up with people that were interested in coming to Oregon, and now it's blowing up even more. People want to come to Texas. So right now it's just a matter of finding what's a good fit. I look for people that. There's certain areas I don't do as well in, and you look for people that fill those areas. And I want people that are going to get to the grindstone and get this team and resurge it.
What are those areas?
Well, recruiting. People get out on the road and recruit. Now, I can evaluate talent, but just being out there and spreading that network out and people that realize will know what I'm looking for in a student athlete. And that's the key of it. And then just the follow-up, being on the phone 24/7. That's something I haven't always been the best at, but that's what I'm looking for.
What would you say your strength as a coach is? Is it motivating? Is it technical part of the game?
Well, if you probably ask my old student athletes, it's probably throwing batting practice to them. I can throw it up there with anybody, and give them the ability to see any type of pitching. And get them used to that. I think that's a big part of it. But also, I think they feel my passion for the game. I love this game. I've never played one day of baseball in my life. And I'm not like I'm a baseball guy that's tuned into fast pitch and read my stuff on the internet. I've done it because I played at the top. I've been one of the best pitchers in the world. I've played for 2 countries, played for New Zealand and for the USA. I've played in numerous world tournaments and also Pan American Games. And my old teammates will tell you that they would want to go with war, nobody else. And so that's what I want. I want people that want to go to war, they want to compete, and we're going to want to win.
Is it important to you to hire somebody with Texas roots to help recruit?
I'm going to hire the best. I mean, this has no boundaries. Just like when I'm going to recruit, obviously there's great talent in Texas, but we're going to recruit the best players. If you have an academic institution like Texas, I think that opens up a lot of people as far as just academics part of it, and then the athletic side of it. Get good coaches, and they have great facilities. So I think that's really going to open up everything for us.
How many times have you been to the state of Texas?
Well, I actually played here in 1982 for the Fort Worth Kings. I played 6 months here, and we had a pretty successful team. We went to the World Tournament. We didn't do very well there. We got knocked out against the eventual champions in the second game, but we went 8 innings. But I like Texas. I was here in the heat of the summer, so I know what summer's about. I've been, and then of course we came down here in 2012, and we were fortunate enough to win that Super Regional.
What impressed you about the Chris Delphonse and why they were persuade you?
I think his personality. I think that I felt like I hit it off straight away with Chris. He was very upfront with me, told me what the boundaries were, straight away, so that's what impressed me. You want to be able to build that, have that trust, that relationship, and I felt like we're on a good start there.
You haven't much of a chance to evaluate the state of this program and kind of where Texas is at right now.
Yeah, obviously you look at the numbers, and the home run numbers weren't high. The stolen base numbers weren't high. Pitching was good. So you just want to just find out, hey, you've got to be able to see the talent first. We played them one game last year down in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta, and I think we won that game. But so right now it's just evaluating what you see on paper, but what do you see on the field? What do they do in the weight room? What do they do on the field? What's their competitive nature like? So there's a lot of assessing that I have to do, and I get a general idea, but it doesn't mean anything until we get them on the field.
How long does it take to win a national championship here?
I don't know. No, it's got to be more about winning a national championship. I think the first step is to be competitive, is to play the best of our abilities. And if that's not good enough, then you recruit better athletes and you go from there. I think if you play the game the right way, the winning will take care of itself. And that's what we focused on at Oregon, was being the best we could be. And it's a team that, and we may not be the best team straight away, but we could be the best team on the day, and that's what we got to work at. Hopefully, I would like to see within a 5-year time frame, if you're going to put a number on it, I would like to see that happen. But first, of course, we have to. My first goal would be to make regionals and then host regionals, obviously, as a big stepping stone. Then hosting super regionals, which means you have to be in the top 8. Now that's a big step, and it takes a little bit of time, but. Hopefully I can attract some players to come here to help fill out our squad, and we'll be competitive straight away.
Plan to recruit nationally?
Absolutely. Nope, absolutely. I'm going to definitely focus on Texas. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's the lifeblood and the advantage I have of coming to Texas. At Oregon, the background wasn't that strong. There were several good players in there. They were sporadic. But at Texas, year in, year out, there's good players in the state. So I've got to build the alliances with the travel ball teams, with not so much the high schools. We don't do much of that, but high school softball, I don't know the strength of that yet. I haven't looked at that. If it's strong, then I'll do that as well. We will uncover the best players in Texas and try to get them here.
Do you feel like you're going to be able to start recruiting today, or do you need to wait for your staff to fill it out and kind of lay of the land?
No, you start straight away. I mean, and tell you the truth, in my job, every day is recruiting. Every hour of the day. You're always taking phone calls. You're always looking for the next player that could help this program.
How bad was it?
How mad?
How bad?
How bad were they even took over? I think the record says a lot. I think it was 16-34, and we had a batting average that should have been an ERA, and an ERA that should have been the batting average. So we were able to turn that around, and I think that's the secret. You get good pitching. I've never lost a shutout. You throw a zero up there, you're going to win sooner or later. Either that, or you get rained out. I don't see that happening down here too much, but so that's the secret. Is first of all, play great defense. Cut the runs down you're giving up. Defensively on the field, be the best base running team we can be, and then try to create some power to go with. I think we have some players that get on base. From where I look, we have some ability to get on base, but we're going to need to pick those power numbers up a little bit.
How much time goes into making a decision like this?
Well, it has to happen pretty quickly, and it's tough. It's very tough because I have deep roots at Oregon, and it took a lot to get me out of there, and that's a credit to Chris Del Conte and Chris Polonsky and this whole athletic department to be able to get me out here and convince me that this is the place to come if I want to grow my career. And so it was. Trust me, I lost a lot of sleep and a lot of angst, but I'm committed now, and I'm here.
How many programs do you think are national championship quality in the nation right now?
Well, heck, I mean, who would have said Florida State would have been last year, and they won it. So, it can happen. You get on a roll the right week, anything can happen. So you'd have to say there's got to be, top 12 teams in the country. Obviously, Oklahoma year in and year out. Florida, UCLA now is really great program. ASU showed they're resurging. So obviously Oregon has been there the last several years. I don't know what they're going to do now. But I imagine them to still be pretty strong.
And would you want to bring some of your staff?
Yes, I'm definitely looking at some of my old staff. Obviously, Jamie Coladas is at UAB, so he's out of the picture. But Coach Spencer is she's a grinder too, babe. I'm telling you, I've been blessed to have her on my staff for 6 years, and she's done a fantastic job, especially with our defense.
I don't know how much you've been able to see of the homes and facilities, but what is your vision for that? Would you like to see upgrades there? What would you like to do over there?
Well, I know there's going to be upgrades next year as far as the player development area, and talking with Chris, his focus was on making it a better student athlete experience and understanding we need the facilities to train those athletes. And that's sort of what we did at Oregon. Oregon was the same thing, but we did the stadium part of it as well. And I understand that can't happen straight away, but hopefully in the future, we turn this program around, we get it to be a winning program, we get more people out there, and they have to satisfy the demand, then we have to get a bigger stadium. So, it's kind of, that's the process I'm envisioning.
Oregon players with you?
Well, I can't comment on that, but there's certainly some good players at Oregon, and like I said, I'm looking for good players anywhere. Anybody who wants to come to Texas, we're looking at if they have the right resume and can fit into this program. Obviously, I've got to meet the student athletes and find out what they're looking for too. We want to make sure we have a good bond and not just the best players. They've got to fit into our philosophy as a team and our culture.
You like Tex-Mex food?
I like spicy food, absolutely. In fact, I'm a seafood and eat it, so I'm not too picky.
Any other questions?
Well, one thing, did you do anything to vet Chris Del Conte as an athletic record? Is he gonna be your boss?
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of time to do that, but obviously he came over from TCU and briefly read his bio and stuff like that. But we can make bios look pretty glossy, right? But no, it's all about personality and meeting people and looking them in the eye and shaking their hand and getting a good feel. And I had a good feel, so I feel like I'm going to be treated the right way, and I'm excited to be here. And not just from Chris, but also Chris Polonsky as well. And I'm sure the more people I meet, the happier I'm going to be.